Hi, welcome to What's the Word? I'm your host, Jaime McFaden, and I'm so excited to have you here. This podcast is about all things wellness. Each week, we will focus on a word of the day, and I interview some of the most inspirational people I know and share that inspiration with you. Join me, let's learn together on What's the Word.
This is the place where I belong.
Hi, and welcome to What's the Word? I'm your host, Jaime McFaden, and this podcast is about all things wellness. Each week, we focus on a word of the day, and I interview some of the most inspirational people I know and share that inspiration with you. Today, I am so excited to have the cake doll owner herself, Heather Walker. I am so happy to have you here. I met you working out with you in your ear per se. And I'm just so honored that you're here with me. You've started your own business, your own brand. You make incredible cakes that you've been featured. You've been in over 25 major baking competitions. Your slogan that I've seen is eat dessert first. Your cakes are unbelievably, sensationally beautiful. I can't wait one day to actually try one. So hopefully I'll get myself out to Scottsdale. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to order one. So you chose today the word assertive, which by definition, assertive means confident and sometimes forceful behavior. So I would love to ask you why you chose that word, and let's get into this.
Yeah. So I love what I do, and I hear people say all the time that, do what you love and it won't seem like work. But what if there's a day that you don't want to work? You still have to do it. And so work is work, regardless of how much you like it.
Right.
And at first, I wasn't assertive because I wasn't saying yes with confidence. When you're new to doing this, every cake that you do is something that you've never done before. And so I was always like, okay, I'll try, and then I'd knock it out of the park and surprise myself. So over the years, I got better. And now my assertiveness is saying no because I'm overwhelmed with people that want cakes. And it's really hard when I have, probably 3 or 4 strong entrepreneurial women in Scottsdale who are very well connected, who are basically responsible for helping me build up my business. And so when they call me, I can't say no. I have to say yes to them, right? And I have to give them a good discount and things like that. Well, pretty soon you're saying yes to them all the time and you're overwhelmed and you're not making money. So it's the assertiveness now comes from having to say no when you're overwhelmed, or no, you can't have a discount because mama's got a mouth to feed.
Right. And so now, and you have one son, is it?
Yes, one son.
Yes.
One very hungry son.
One very hungry son who gets to eat a lot of your delicious cakes.
Who wants nothing to do with cake.
Oh my goodness, right?
Yeah.
I feel
my
like
dogs my dogs are obese from the cake trimmings that I got.
Wow. Okay, so I love that you just tapped into that, because so much of, I think, the unlearning process as we get older is realizing that no is a full sentence, and that not only is it okay to say no, but when we say no to something, we're actually saying yes, usually to ourselves. And that can be kind of one of those, it just doesn't seem to fit well. When we grow up, I know myself as a woman in my family, it was yes. You just say yes, you accept everything. If somebody offers it, you take it, you all those things. So I commend you for not only choosing that word, but for being here today with me. And I'd love to just get a little bit of a backstory to my listeners and to the audience right now of how you and I got connected.
Yeah. I'm going to cry.
Well, I'm going to cry right here with you. So I'm here with you.
I went through a really, really dark time when I was about 45. I'm 48 now, and I'm doing much better. The other part of assertiveness is being okay to say you're not okay. That's also part of it. But when I hit 45, my hormones, started changing. My life started changing, and all of a sudden I was angry at my husband for all of the things I held back. Part of being assertive is being able to show emotion and getting angry. And I think a lot of times women aren't allowed to get angry at their husbands, especially, I wasn't working at the time, so he was providing for us and I was the caretaker of the kid. And so, I was taught that you're not allowed to get mad at your husband because he's providing for you. So something changed at me at 45, and all of a sudden I was really angry for all of the things he did when we were 25 years old that I never got mad at him about. He didn't understand what was happening. And I just felt like everything was overwhelming me. And it got to a point to where I was extremely depressed, and there were days I didn't want to live. And I've always known that exercise was the best antidepressant. I didn't feel comfortable going to a gym at the time because I thought I was ugly and overweight. And that's how I found Aptive. I just, I downloaded it on my phone, and I don't know how I found you. I just maybe found one of the workouts that where the name of it, a lot of times the name of the workout is what kind of sparks my inspiration. So, I just, something in me, I remember there was one of the workouts that I did where you were kind of telling your story of how, you had split up with someone or you got cheated on. I don't know your full backstory, but, you were kind of saying it's okay to not be okay. It's okay if you just want to walk today, just do that. And I remember there were days that I still, at the end of my workout, saying to you, because I tell you, we have conversations all the time while I'm working out, I do feel better today, Jamie, but I still don't want to live. So I'll try again tomorrow. And so I just kept doing that. I just kept going for the walks. I went for the runs. And eventually I had to go get some help. I eventually went to some therapy because I knew I wasn't okay. But here we are 3 years later, my business is getting back on track because of COVID. I still got a big butt.
But I am here for the big butt crew, okay? Coming from my Greek family, come on.
but that's how you came into my life. And I still, I go to the gym now a little bit too, but I love being able to run outside. There's just something so freeing about being outside and walking and running. And it's always your voice that I go to first because you helped me out of that really dark time.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for sharing the truth and the vulnerability and the courage to admit, the truth. That can be a really tough thing. And I think that's why I do what I do, is that when we can find that purpose through the pain, when we can find the strength through the struggle, and when we can actually get to the side where we're like, okay, I think I could talk about this now. Like I think, and I really want to help now, because if I've gone through this kind of stuff, I just remember thinking back in my life, like there's definitely people that are going to go through it. And when you feel alone, whew. So,
and now since mental health is at such a forefront in our society, and we've gone through, I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for COVID. But I mean, I was really scared when that whole, when we had to stay home, and I was like, I don't want to go back to that place. I don't want that cloud to come back over me. So I was afraid that I was going to go back there. So I know there's, I don't know how single mothers do it that have been laid off. So I know there's people out there that are going through it.
Yeah. I mean, I will admit I've had to lean on a lot of support in many different ways myself throughout this time. Without getting into all that, what I will say is, you are someone who has proven right now that perseverance and working through it and, fighting the fight, because the biggest fight I believe is that we are going to always have is in here. And when we can click things in here and can make that connection, the world will open up. And obviously, as you and I both know, you can have your business, you can have your family, you can have things going on in your life. So someone might from the outside go, well, but you seem happy, but you've got it all, all those things. And so I just, to anyone that's listening to this right now, to anyone that's watching right now, we are all connected. I believe we are all connected, which is why I felt a podcast was so necessary to do after being in the audio space for so long. And it's something I've wanted to do for many years. And you are someone that from the day we connected through the app, I felt like I knew you, and yet I've never known you.
Right.
So,
We've messaged each other. This is the first time we've talked face to face, and we've messaged each other. And I told you, we have conversations all the time that you're not even aware of. While I'm, Jamie, today we're running on the Mogollon Rim, and look at this. I can see the eagles soaring out over the trees. Isn't this gorgeous? Sometimes I'll take the sweaty selfie and send it to you, but you already know because we've had this conversation for the last 10 minutes.
Well, you know what? I feel like there is almost like a telepathic thing that maybe I have because I do feel like already connected to you. And I think that that's right now with this podcast and talking and having you here today, I want to, like I said, honor you. You have gone through a big struggle in your life that you have overcome in many ways. And going through a dark phase like that doesn't mean, forever you'll never experience that. But now hopefully you have the tools that when you ever start to feel those things, and that's where to anyone I ever speak with or talk to as like a mental health advocate, because I'm not a doctor at all, but what I can share is that many of us can go through it. It can feel like the most isolating, lonely thing until you hear someone else go, okay, wait, maybe I'm not alone. And when we can realize that we aren't alone, and when we can start to face that struggle and fight that fight, and like the two voices in the head, one of them saying, the bad one and then the good one, it's like, how can we quiet that one more and more? And it's almost like training our bodies. And it's almost like with you have a business. So how many cakes do you make a day?
Well, I try to only do one, but
I mean, your cakes are, for anyone that doesn't know,
Heather, one cake takes me 12 hours to decorate. It just depends on how complicated they are. But I mean, back to the word, you've got to be assertive with yourself enough to say enough is enough. I'm somebody who has no reason to be depressed. We have a nice house, we have a nice life. Technically, there's no reason for me to be depressed. And at first, I wouldn't go to the drugstore to buy St. John's wort because I was afraid that the cashier was going to judge me.
Right.
So
there's still a lot of,
you have to be assertive enough with yourself to say, enough is enough, get some help, or it's okay to not be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And do something about it, It's like you said, it's a fight, and I have to know, and being aware of it, I think, is the first step.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I mean, I think that goes into any facet of life, right? When we can bring awareness to our thoughts, to our feelings, to our intention with what we're doing every day, right? You and I tapped into the fact that so many people, including myself sometimes, and you, can get to the place where we're almost burnt out because we're go. We're saying yes to all these things. We're putting ourselves out there in so many different ways because we want to help, because we want to, do all these great things. And at the end of the day, there are times where we have to, like you said, be assertive with ourselves to say, I got to say no, or I can't do this. So to anyone that's listening, just remember, no is a full sentence. And there is many good times and reasons to say no. Now, with that being said, I'm going to flip the script a little bit because I want to honor your business here. And I want to hear about, as an entrepreneur, is it something you always wanted to do? I just want to hear a little tidbit of like, how did you get to be, is it doll cakes? Cake doll.
Cake doll. Yeah.
Cake doll. So how did you get to become the cake doll? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I may have seen a video with you and your mom.
Yeah. Well, I've always been really interested in food and cooking. When my son was born, I stopped working, and watched Food Network all day, held my kid and watched Food Network all day. And I saw a show called Challenge one day, and it was an episode about women who did cooking contests for money. And I am extremely competitive. And so I wanted to know how good of a cook I was, and just started entering online cooking competitions and started winning right away. And so that just kind of snowballed. And, lo and behold, 5 years later, Food Network is all of a sudden home cook friendly with all these baking competitions, right? And
Wow.
as a kid, we always baked everything from scratch. And so the next thing I know, I'm on spring baking championship with maybe three good recipes. And I kept making the same cake recipe over and over again and telling him, oh, this is my sponge cake. This is my chiffon cake. This is my
Right.
vanilla cake. It was the same cake the whole time. So
Oh.
I figured it out after about 3 episodes and sent me home. But um, I I started doing stuff with Cake Boss with Buddy Velastro, and I ended up winning. I got better. I promise I got better. And I won 3 shows with him. And the more I started doing cakes and trying things, the more I realized, and I still use that as a joke with my husband. Hey, it turns out I'm pretty good at sculpting baseballs or whatever. So I didn't even know I could do all of this until about 3 or 4 years ago. If I wish I would have known that I could do this at 25. um,
Wow.
there's no telling where I'd be now. I'm 48 and I didn't even discover any of this stuff. It was like in the midst of my depression that I was like, oh, I didn't even know I could do this.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that right there is such a beautiful thing to share with anyone that's listening right now. And I say this all the time. My grandmother didn't start working out until she was, I think, 60, and she just turned 90 the other day. And she is one of the healthiest human beings on earth. And she had, other issues with her legs and her knees and her this. And now she's incredible. And I always believe that, it's age is a number, and it's really never too late to make that change or to discover something or to be excited or curious or just try. And yeah, to start something. So with that all being said, did you just decide when you started winning, like, okay, I'm going to go all in? Like, I need to make this. Like, when was that
Uh,
moment?
I feel like, so when I got kicked off a spring baking championship, my friend Melissa, I was not going to ever bake anything ever again or cook anything ever again because I was just so mad at myself. And she said, will you make my son Ben a Lego cake? And boy, that was the cake that launched 1,000 ships. So it turned out to be this amazing thing that I didn't know I could do. And here I am giving her credit again for everything. I mean, I blame her now because I can't quit
She's
if
the
I
one that
try
got,
again.
you can't quit
It's all
now.
your fault, Dad. But that I just
Wow.
fell into it, and I never. I don't know. I don't know at any point did I say I'm all in now. I don't know. I don't think I did. I've always tried to quit, and
Oh, so you've tried to quit, but it's just the universe is
yeah, it's like The
continuously
Saying
Godfather.
you're
They keep
not quitting.
pulling me
Right.
back in. Yeah, the universe just keeps pulling me back in. There's no way. I mean, every time I say that's it, because I'm not being assertive enough, right? I'm not taking
Right.
time off. I'm not saying no to people. I'm not. Um, like I said, the cakes sometimes will take me 12 hours to decorate one cake, and so that's time away from my family. So every time we go on a trip, it takes me 2 or 3 days to decompress because I feel guilty. you know
Right.
and I'm afraid people are going to judge me, and I had to tell this person no for their kid's graduation. So it's just, I don't know, it's very surreal. And I'm just now to the point to where I know I'm past the point of no return, so I have to deal with it. I've got to learn now to be assertive, and this is my business. This is what I do. I'm not a project manager. I was a project manager for a healthcare company before my son was born. I'm not a project manager. I'm a cake maker.
and you're a damn good one. That's all over the TV and everywhere. Yeah. We need to celebrate that. So, okay, with that being said, we're going to wrap things up soon. I want to know, is there anything, so for the listeners that are out there right now that are either, just whatever you want to share, actually, I'm going to just open this up to whatever you're feeling right now in this moment that you want to share with the world about life and assertiveness, and what would you like to share?
Probably just empower yourself enough to say no. You can say, I mean, part of being assertive is saying no and still being respectful of others, right? Don't be afraid to say no politely. Like you said, no is a complete sentence. Um, and say yes with confidence. I think that's something that I still struggle with, because like I said, can you make me a cake that's shaped like a fish? Well, I don't know. I've never made a cake that's shaped like a fish. Don't be afraid to say yes with confidence. Believe in yourself enough to where you can start something at 48 years old. You can try something you've never tried before. If you've got some skill, have some faith in yourself, man. And if you're not okay, it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be broken. I swear a lot, and I've been choking back a lot of swear words, but
Good, you go, girl.
It's okay to be a fart in a whirlwind.
Oh my goodness. Well, I love that. And I think that's a perfect way to segue into the fun little segment of what we do. And it's really quick. This is how we wrap up every episode, is that I do a speed round. So it's just tapping into your subconscious. First thing that comes to mind, all for fun: pizza or tacos?
Both.
Your favorite cake?
Lemon with raspberry filling.
Your favorite exercise?
Running.
Your least favorite exercise?
Running.
Your favorite animal?
Dog.
If you could go anywhere today, where would you go?
Hawaii. You've been to Hawaii with me,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, let's go. Okay. If you had any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, we were just talking about this the other night. Teleportation.
Ooh. And where would you go?
Hawaii.
Okay, great. I wasn't sure if it was like you're going to go to the past or the future.
I have to remind you of this. When I went to Hawaii in 2009, I got off the plane and the first thing I saw was an active billboard with you and Kenta on it. And I was like, holy crap, she's following me everywhere.
I was watching you.
Remember? I think I sent you the picture. I was like, come on. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. I can't believe that. Well, Heather, you are an incredible human being. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. I can't wait to connect with you more offline, to chat and to be there, to grow together and to help spread the word to be better together, because we are all united. We're all connected. And if there's a way that we can remember that and really tap into that on those moments in life when you're going, I don't know.
Yep.
I think we could all just be a lot better.
Yeah. Some of us are just hotter than others.
Well, and once again, I just can't wait one of these days to come out there and try one of your cakes and go running with you. So here we go. We're going to run and then have cake. Okay.
Slow. We're going to run slow.
That's fine. I love it. And maybe I'll be eating the cake while we do. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone, thank you for tuning into What's the Word. And also, Heather, where's the best place for anyone to find you? Is it online? Is it at your store?
My website is cakedollarizona.com, all spelled out. And I'm on
Great.
Instagram.
And I'm going to share.
Too. Yep.
I'll share all those links. I'll share everything that you sent to me. And as soon as this is up, we'll be spreading the word. So sending you my love.
Yep.
Stay assertive.
Yes.
Yay. Okay. Amazing. I wish I could chat with you longer, but I got to jump into this next one right away. But